Hello, my coffee cakes. Happy Stellar Teller Tuesday. Woohoo. Yeah, to me it's still Teller Tuesday, even though I don't really like Charlie Hunnam anymore or that. But so yeah, but here we are. Let's share this out. Oops. I'm actually liking going live from my computer. I actually got a new uh, tool I have to try out, but I'm not gonna do that on the live. Okay, there we go. Actually, I'm going to share onto Facebook. I don't have my Miss Kelly fan page anymore because of, well, typical problem. uh, so hopefully y'all are having a great day. I was busy cleaning, get rid of stuff, because I don't want to take everything with me, you know. There we go. So, so that's that. Oops. Okay. That's what Cardi B says, right? I'm not really a fan of her, to tell you the truth. I don't really, ooh, oh God. So Facebook's got some interesting posts going on. So today, if you want to know what this is I don't know if this is a secret menu drink or what, but it's new. It is the cookies and cream cold brew. I like cold brew now. I think I might need a special coffee pot to make cold brew coffee. Hey, Adelaide. How are you doing, sweetheart? How's Tickety Talk going for you? I tell you what, I know some people on here are not a fan, but I love TikTok. It's fun, you know. I mean, I'm not anywhere close to getting the creators fund over there because they changed the rules, but I get paid to come on here, so I have more trolls here than I have there. So I guess, for now, what am I holding my phone for? Anyways, um, thankfully tonight I don't have to have dinner because I already had dinner at Wendy's today after a massive. Oh, thank you for sharing, Adelaide. Adelaide's the best. Adelaide and Lewis Fuller, they really are the greatest um, people here on YouTube. And I have to say I have a big heart for them, for the siblings. I know sometimes I call you the kids, but I have a big heart for you both. And when I saw certain people bullying you the other day, I just, oh God, no, you ain't gonna do that in my presence. No, ma'am, no, sir. You are not going to bully my Adelaide. You're not going to bully Haggis either. I don't have a fancy setup here, so I can put different backgrounds on here. If I start going live more, I might look into what's the deal with paying for StreamYard if I get something better than what I have now. But right now, I like just doing this. Although tomorrow, no, I don't know if I'm going to be back tomorrow morning because my daughter has an appointment at 10. Maybe it'll be a lunch live. I don't know. I have to go live more because I'm not putting out any content at the moment. Due to my court proceedings. But I guess I am going to work on some stuff. Um, I'm working on getting a new phone. I'm going to be trading in my XR, my iPhone XR for the 12 mini. See, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I saw it. The 12 Pro Max is about the same size, maybe slightly bigger than what I have now. But the mini is like, maybe about half of this size. And I'm okay with that because, a smaller phone would fit in my hand better, you know. But that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the 12 mini. But I'm going to be bringing back the shopping haul videos again because that's how I get contacted by companies for things. I got contacted by I got contacted by Javi Coffee, which I really like. I have to make. I actually almost bought chocolate chips today, and they weren't the right ones. So I have to make. I'm gonna make something called a frozen yogurt drop, but I'm gonna use the coffee thing. And when I was at Target, they had what was called espresso chocolate chips, and I didn't think that made sense because it's gonna be coffee flavored. That's the coffee concentrate, so you don't want to put espresso chocolate chips in there with your coffee flavored yogurt. But yeah, I'm also going to be bringing some book review videos very soon because I've been reading a lot. Um, you know, uh, I guess that's where I'm at in life. Now that I'm not really like invested in a group per se, I could do a lot more on my own. And I don't know. I'm really investing a lot of time on TikTok, just simply because my following is just a little bit better. And as you can see, the title of my live today is freedom of religion, but are we really free to believe? Well, that leads me back to what we were talking about yesterday. Um, you know, uh, Somebody was bullying Haggis because he had a burning cross as his backdrop of his live. I mean, that doesn't offend me, but I'm also a pagan, and I'm not really offended by that. I'm offended. I don't hate on the church. I didn't really talk about hating on the church. I don't hate the church. I don't like the way it's run, you know. But maybe some people think that I haven't found the right one. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just not in it. I'm not in it. And I just like, paganism's something different. And paganism doesn't have, we don't have the Bible. We have our own way of doing things. And we are predominantly a nature-based faith. And that's what I'm all about. Oh crap. I'm all about that. But here's the thing: is I believe that, and you believe that, and that's okay. But the thing is, this is that I think in this country, it's in the Constitution. We have freedom of religion, but do we really though? But do we really? I mean, I guess in this country we have a lot more freedoms than other countries. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not I'm not knocking the United States or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying? We have the freedom to choose what religion we want to follow, but at the same time, everybody judges one another for that. You tell you like you talk to people who are Christian. They don't like Catholics. Catholics are not. Christians don't like Catholics. Christians and Catholics don't like pagans. Christians and Catholics don't like. Hey, Lewis. They don't like the Muslims. you know, to me, I don't really care what God you believe in. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't hurt me, does it? Really? I mean, I don't understand that. There's no reason to hate on somebody because they don't believe in the same God as you. I mean, that's what I just can't. It just that just is so. It feels like so mean. You know. Again, I'm not hurt or offended by any of that. You know. But when somebody is going live and they want to have a burning cross as their backdrop, no matter what the reason is, that's their choice. You know, maybe that's how they're feeling that day. You know, I don't really like to talk about religion or politics on my channel, but growing up, I was raised Irish Catholic. You know, and Irish Catholic is one of like the most strictest of the Catholics out there. You know, and I went through some mental health issues growing up, and you know, my mom had told me to ask the sister at the time, what do they think about, people who have suicidal issues, right? I was a little embarrassed by that to begin with, and I was not expecting the response that I had received. But the response that I had received from the sister was not very nice. The Catholic Church believes that if you are, as people who try to commit to unalive themselves, whether they are successful or not, they are sinners and they do not belong in the church. But that's what doesn't make sense to me, is that if you're in a crisis like that, the church is supposed to help you and not judge you. The Bible, that's exactly it, Adelaide. That's what I'm very confused about. There are some people, and I'm not saying all Christians are like that. There's some really great Christians. There's a pastor on TikTok. His name is Kirk Moore. We're not related. I don't have a pastor in my family that I'm aware of. But he's a pastor. His name is Kirk Moore, and he's absolutely adorable. I mean, he invites everybody onto his channel. He has no hatred for anybody who is outside of the Christian faith, or if you're gay, that's okay. I mean, I don't even understand why in 2021 that's even a conversation anymore. Saying that if you're gay, that's okay. I mean, it should be more than okay. I mean, there are Christian and Catholic and Jewish and Muslim gay people out there, you know. So I don't understand why we're just, in 2021. Oh, you're gay. Oh, that's okay. I don't care who you love, but see, the thing is, you don't, it's funny because there are people out there that I know who are Christian, and they're the type of people who will say, "Oh, well, you're gay, that's great, but don't push your beliefs on me." But yet then they're going to push their beliefs on me because I don't support, that faith. I don't know. I'm not one of those kinds of people. Like I said, I don't like to go live and talk about politics or religion because it's a slippery slope. And I like my channel to be a safe place for everybody. I don't think that there is I don't like to believe that there is one faith that is more superior than the other. I don't think Muslims who Muslims they worship Allah. I don't think that's the wrong God because it's not mine. He's not my God, but he's theirs, and they like him. So and they worship him. So who am I to say that their God is any better or worse than mine? You know, In paganism, we do believe in God, and we believe in other gods. The slogan that we use is that we believe in God. We just don't believe that he should be a single parent. So that's why, the pagans have gods and goddesses. I mean, that's just a little diddly do there, but I don't know, but I feel like someone's channel is their home, you know, and I'm the type of person when somebody hurts a friend. Um, I mean, I don't think Haggis is really hurt by any things that were said by those two people, but it's not nice. It's not nice, and when you have a channel, this is your home. I mean, I don't particularly like. Yeah, my father went to Catholic school as a kid, in New York City, and they were. I mean, corporal punishment was a big thing back then. My father will tell you stories all about that. You know, um, the sister, sure they had the ruler in hand, but my father will tell you it wasn't the sisters that were dangerous; it was the brothers. You know, if you were caught, my father would tell you that if you were caught sitting in a desk outside in the hallway because you were being a buffoon in the classroom, the brother would pick you up in the desk and throw the desk with you in it. you know. I mean, this is, this is part of the reasons why, I'm not a part of the church. I was told that I'm a sinner, and I don't belong. And, I mean, I don't see how that's even really a thing either, that the church turns people away at their worst. I don't know if any of you guys are aware. I don't know if I don't talk about this too much, but I went to college. I was in the human services program. I was actually studying to be a social worker, and something that was, when I was in my class intro to social welfare, um, a lot of, we learned the beginnings of how, the history of how things came to be about for people. And, when they used to have the workhouses in England, if you were poor or something like that, it was the Catholic Church owned these, they were called, like I said, they were called workhouses. And, it's kind of like, no, it's not any different than, than, how Apple has their, it's no different than, like I said, like a sweatshop here. And, you know, but the Catholic Church back then, they used to tell people if you were able-bodied, you'd have to pick yourself up from your bootstraps and carry on. They were not big into handouts and things like that. I mean, nowadays things aren't the same, with that. The Catholic Church is very big into helping people now in that sense. They have food pantries, and the last couple of years, especially this year, they've been helping my family at the holiday season. But I don't believe in that, you know. But I don't think people should be judged, based on what religion they choose to follow. I mean, we're also born, in many cases, we're born into a religion, and maybe growing up you find that doesn't work for you, and you decide to convert, like me. I was told years ago, because I am pagan now. Um, if you've ever had, because I'm Irish, my father's side is Irish. If you've ever had dreams about being pagan, then you probably were one. You're probably a witch in your in your past life. And I truly believe that. I've definitely had dreams of, being burnt at the stakes. Maybe my past life I was, burned for being a witch. But, listen, that's the whole thing here, is that, us as society, it says in the Constitution that we have the freedom of religion. But the problem is, yeah, that's in the Constitution, but and so is separation of church and state. But obviously, that's not the case either. It seems like the you know our government is filled with Catholics and Christians and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure, and there's some Muslim folks in there, and sheiks and things like that. But I just don't like the fact that it's pushed on to people. You know, a Jew, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a pagan, and a what do you call it? You know, sat at a bar and had a good time because they're not assholes. That's how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to not be an asshole and judge one another. You know. So if somebody wants to come on here and have a live stream with a photo of a burning cross, like I said, maybe that's what they're feeling that day. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are really religious, but yet they have some kind of conflict with the church. I used to have this roommate. Her name was Leslie, and she was well, she was a little weird, but she had said that she was a born again Christian, but she born again Pentecostal Christian, but she was born Jewish. So you can't be born again if you were born Jewish. You converted to that, and that's fine. She was a very religious person. Like, a little too much for me. She was, but hey, listen, if that's what makes somebody's day, it's like if it gives them a peace of mind and that's what they want to follow in their day, that's fine. But she was very pushy with it. But something I had noticed that she had struggled with going to the church was, well, she was going to some places that, were a little on the questionable side, you know. I used to say, "Are you sure you want to go to this place? Because something about this didn't seem right." I mean, there are people out there who become pastors and then hold these religious meetups at like a restaurant and try to play out that they're a church and try to collect tithes. That's what she was going through. She had this lady that she had found, and her husband supposedly, went to school to be a pastor, which, hey, that's cool. But then they would hold like meetouts at like they would rent this tea house when it was closed on Sundays. But they would charge, tithes. Tithes in many religions is like 10% of your income. So these people would charge you. They would want 10% of her income, which was like $70, $80. When they're having church at a rented, they're renting a couple of booths at a restaurant on a Sunday, and on top of that, they would claim that if you bought yourself a bottle of olive oil, right? You bought yourself a bottle of olive oil from the grocery store, right? Put it on the altar. You could put it on the altar, and it would sit there, and it would become anointing oil, which was a little bit ridiculous. And they charged her for it too. She went out and bought the olive oil, and they would charge her to charge up this oil, and she would put it on everything. She would anoint her forehead. She would anoint the tongue, and the worst part of it is she was anointing the walls of the house. And I used to say, God forbid something went awry and there was a fire in the house, that'd be really dangerous. And that did end up happening towards, before I was, moved out of there. But I mean, thankfully that the house did not set a fire. That's a scary thought. That's scary. That's the thing is there's some extremists out there who really just take advantage of the whole idea of church. You know, in this country, we're supposed to have freedom of religion and things like that, but we really kind of don't. We really kind of don't. It's in the Lewis is here. Yeah, you have no fear. Lewis is here. But that's the thing is, and I'm not against religion or faith. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's just, maybe one religion just isn't for me, but that's okay. And I have no offense to that. I like the idea. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of the whole church thing per se, but hey, listen, if a whole bunch of people can come together in a nice way and talk about something and kind to one another, what the hell's wrong with that? But you know, I'm one of those people who just feels like, for me, but what's for you, what works for you and works for me are two different things. You know, I'm somebody who feels like, hey, Christian, I'm doing quite well. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, I'll talk about, and it's not just religion either. I mean, look at the school. I'm not saying 100%. I'm having technical difficulties too, Lewis. The heat's terrible. Oh my God, it's so hot today. But Starbucks came out with a new cold brew. I don't know if this is a secret menu item. I saw it and I was like, oh, I gotta try that. It's actually it is a cookies and cream cold brew. I'm big into the cold brew these days. But I had to get a medium because this one's like loaded with sugar and stuff. I had a coffee yesterday from Dunkin', and I've been drinking the same iced coffee for like the last couple of weeks. But now I know why my yeah, I was uh I was not aware that that iced coffee I've been drinking for the last couple of weeks was like 300 calories. Whoops, you know. So I won't be getting that anymore. But I really should be making my own coffee. I don't make my coffee a lot because I don't want to make a mess, but I'll be going back to that soon. I actually bought my own whipped cream because that's what cold brew really the cold foam on the cold brew really is just a is that. But same on the same topic of what you said, Christian, is another example of what you just said is in the K through 12. When the schools teach history. I'm not saying I'm for or against. Yeah, that's exactly it, Christian. With Dunkin' Donuts, I didn't even know this, but Dunkin' Donuts has an app too, just like Starbucks and 7-Eleven. And after like certain amount of points, you get a free coffee. Yeah, I didn't know that. Generally, I get a hot coffee from Dunkin'. I get a hot coffee with a little caramel, a little French vanilla, but whatever. But if I go to 7-Eleven, I get hazelnut coffee with fat-free half and half, and like a little sprinkle of hazelnut creamer just to enhance the hazelnut flavor. But in the same thing that you just said there, Christian, is that you know in I'm not saying I'm for or against you know the removal of certain historical statues, like Columbus and Thomas Jefferson and things like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I am predominantly for it. I don't feel like those kinds of historical figures need to be celebrated. But the thing is, it's time to start teaching, our children history properly too. We can remove the historical figures, but we need to teach our children the history properly. Really? Wow. Wow. Oh, you're diabetic too? Oh, ouch. Yeah, I'd say that. Although the Dunkin' Donuts that is within walking distance from my house does not have drive-through. There's no way for them to have drive-through, but they don't have one. Um, and but somebody was telling me on TikTok that Dunkin' Donuts has raised the price for the coffee. I didn't even notice. I'm not someone who noticed. But Dunkin' is Dunkin' Donuts a franchise? No, they're not a franchise. But 7-Eleven is. So, and I use Fetch Rewards, and I get more points if I go to 7-Eleven because I usually end up getting something else with my coffee. Usually a bag of chips or something like that. Um, but that's another thing is like just like religion, we need to teach history better. I'm gonna say I'm not against the critical race theory lesson. What's wrong with teaching our kids about that? I don't find that to be racist or hateful. There's a really awesome indigenous American on TikTok. His channel is Modern Warrior. I know my buddy uh Prince Magnum did a duet with Modern Warrior. And something that I don't find to be offensive is when he calls, he doesn't use the term Karen, for the racists. He calls them colonizer. I don't find that offensive though. I don't find that offensive. I'm not offended by that. If the person earns that level of respect, then who am I to say that? However, I really do believe that, it's time to start teaching our kids history properly. Well, thank you, Lewis. Lewis, you're the best. You really are the best. Anyone who bullies my friend Lewis or Adelaide or any of you, kapow. I love these guys, you know. Hello, Willie Rosado. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you know, that's how I feel about things. I think it's time to start teaching our children history in a proper manner. You know, when you get to college now, see that's why, you know, when you get to college, that's when history starts to change. It shifts gears because a college professor can teach however they feel like it. You know, you're not if you don't know this, but the government controls what's to be taught in your in the school because they want to mold your kids to think a certain kind of way. I'm doing good. How are you? I was one of those kids who read a lot of books, so I just formulated my own opinions. Excuse me. And even as an adult, I had some things that I needed to learn. You know, there were certain things I didn't really know about, like white privilege. I didn't know what that really meant. I didn't know what that meant. You know, I didn't, but now I do. Considering I have children who are biracial. Now I know. Now I know for sure. You know, and you know, I'm learning a lot of things, and but I think it's time that we need to start having our children learn proper history. Yeah, I hear that, Willie Rosado. Me too. Me too. I like to read a lot. I do like to read a lot. I like to read historical fiction, and I know that the big topic of conversation right now is the the boarding schools for the indigenous children, where they're finding mass graves of these children. I mean, that's just awful. I mean, they did not have to assimilate to our culture, you know. But I actually read a book about that a few years ago, and I'm actually doing a book review on it. I mean, I read it a few years ago, but I'm going to do a book review on it just to promote it here on my channel. I'm going to be doing book review videos, you know, coming soon. I have a few books that I just finished, so I might as well share. Sharing is caring. But I read a book. It was definitely something. I had heard about these boarding schools a few years ago. Um, I mean, it's just awful the way we treated these people. You know, we came to this country to escape a tyrant, right? Really? Science was the only science I had a problem with was earth science. Biology I was great at. I actually have a degree in animal science. History is something that I find interesting. However, now that history is different. Yeah, it is. Later, Christian, it is hard to be a mixed kid. Now, I live in an area that's a predominantly white neighborhood. That's why we're trying to get out of here. Florida is where I'm moving to, in Florida is a very diverse neighborhood, and this is how I'm going to explain it. So where I live now, I live in a town which is, like I said, predominantly white. So if living here, you have to be like white. There's no such thing as if you're mixed, they don't like you. They are so racist where I live now that um they don't see a different different Latinas. Like my daughter is half Puerto Rican, and to these kids, she's whatever. I mean, they've actually told my daughter that to go back to Mexico and build a wall and all that stuff. But she's Puerto Rican for one. You know, she was born here in this country, so this is her country. That's what they're saying here. They don't care that she's not Mexican. They just see it as a whole. And when this whole coronavirus thing came along, that's exactly how they treated that as well. They don't realize that there are different Asian countries. To these people, everybody here is Chinese, and they That's just how they are. But yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm very good with English or a language. That I was very good in English. English, history and science, biology, not the other stuff I was pretty good at. I loved art, you know. Math was my problem. I couldn't, but that's how it is here. So she's not white enough for these kids in this town. But if we were to move to my hometown, now I grew up in a town where there weren't a lot of white people, and I liked it that way actually, and I still do. I kind of miss home. I miss having like a bodega. Like every other block, there's a bodega. You want rice and beans, you can go to any kind of place. There's different kinds. There's a Puerto Rican bodega. There's a Colombian deli. There's, Ecuadorian deli. I mean, it's all basically the same. Similar and things, but you had different choices of rice and beans. I love rice and beans. You know what I'm saying? But if I were to move home to the kids that are over there, she would actually be, she wouldn't be, she would actually be white to them. But whatever, you know. But so that's why we're leaving, to move to Florida. There's an area where we're moving to where it's extremely diverse. Supposedly it's 30% black, 30% white, 30% Hispanic, and 10%, whatever other mix there is, Asian, whatever. Um, I mean, I'm looking into what's down there. They have Asian grocery stores. They have Caribbean grocery stores. I mean, here where I live, in the town I live in now, there's none of that. There's no Asian grocery stores in this area. There are certainly areas on Long Island where that is available, and we do go to them, on occasion, for stuff. Um, I like the dumplings. I like dumplings. Um, and I don't know if you know this, but in Japan, they actually have 300 different flavors of Kit Kat bars. Delicious. I don't know which flavor I like the best. So far, I just tried the peaches and cream Kit Kat bar from Japan. They were pretty good. There is a cheesecake flavor one. That one's okay. Let's see. Oh, the raspberry and cream ones are really good. Yeah, those are good. But I'm definitely looking to try different ones. They also have different kinds of Oreos. I got raspberry, but their Oreos now the Japanese Oreos, the ones that I've been finding are the thin ones, Oreo thins, which is great because they're not too many carbs. Still pretty bad on calories and things like that, but uh, but yeah. So that's my thoughts on things. Is that we need to start teaching our children the history properly. I was talking to a friend today, and they were talking about how they were on TikTok, and they were literally getting a whole history lesson. That's what I love about it, though, is that when you're on TikTok, opposed to YouTube, is that they push your content to a certain group. They have there's thrift talk, there's you know Democrat talk and conservative talk and all that stuff. But they push you up to where what it's they push your videos up to what based on what you're posting, and they suggest people that are close to what you like. you know that's why I find it really fun. And I was just approved for the early access to the 3-minute videos, which I'm really liking. I don't really take advantage too much of that feature, but that's pretty awesome. I know there was like people judging the idea of 3-minute videos because who wants to see people twerking for 3 minutes? I mean, I don't really care. I mean, if they're having a great time, who the hell cares? I don't care about that. I don't wish to rain on people's parade of happiness, and TikTok is just like a totally different a different setting there. I mean, sure, there are trolls, and you know what I like about that is if you get a troll comment on your video, right? There's an option for you to click on the comment, and you make a video. You can make a video reply to the troll comment, which is pretty awesome because not only are you getting comment, well, you get the troll comment, of course, but you can use that troll comment as content. I wish YouTube would let us do that, but I guess that gets to be a little too hairy over here because you know. But that's what I like about that. But my good friend Prince Magnum, he was posting about something today, and I don't think he's watching, but you know I see these videos on TikTok, and I'd like to do a response on that myself here on YouTube, because people think that I lean towards the left, which I generally do. And I don't really like to talk about politics, but something that something was asked by a conservative TikToker is, if you're on the left, are there any policies on the right that you support? And actually, there are actually a few policies that I do support on the right, and one of them is the guns, because I feel like me as a human being, I mean, if you're going to buy something with your hard-earned money, if you're going to buy something with your hard-earned money, who am I to say what you can and can't buy? That's not my business, right? I don't feel like that's my business. I'm not going to stop you from buying that. I mean, I don't understand what you need, an assault rifle for, but who am I to say you can't buy that? I'm not one to say that. It's not my business. You know, I mean, like I said, as long as you're going to be responsible for it, although at the same token, like if you have a child who is severely mentally ill or something like that, then you should kind of like turn them in, or have them somewhere else, because you don't want them getting a hold of that. You know, there was some talk a while ago, and I have to be honest. Back then, I was not for this, but I am now. Okay, so there was talks a while ago in for New York City. I think it was when Mayor Bloomberg, when Bloomberg was mayor over there. There had been talks of banning people who are on food stamps from buying soda. And you know what? And back then, I was like, this is stupid, right? This is stupid. Mind your fucking business. But you know what though? And I was talking with one of my kids' care managers today, and something actually does kind of make sense now. Um, those kinds of things I do think need to be better regulated on food stamps. And I was on food stamps, and I know how I spent it when I had it. And I kind of wish I had it now, because if I had food stamps, it would cover my protein shakes and things like that. I sure as hell would be a lot more responsible for it. But now coming to think of it, if you had food stamps and they took that, I mean, I'm not saying you could. What I'm thinking is this is not like totally like eradicating the idea of you purchasing these things, but maybe you could, there should be a cap on how much of that you should be allowed to buy. Because the thing is, this is generally people who are on food stamps also, use, they're on Medicaid. When I was on food stamps, I had Medicaid. And something that Medicaid is very, interested in is preventative care. That's why, when I got my weight loss surgery, Medicaid was totally cool with paying for it, because, if you give somebody weight loss surgery and they lose the weight, then, they're not at a risk of becoming a diabetic or heart attack, or, other things that could require long-term, you know, uh, care, and that, something very expensive. So, so when I think back on that, you know, I was very addicted to soda, back then when that was in the talks. So yeah, I was totally against it. But now, fast forward to now, and knowing where I've come in life, losing weight, and the damage that these things. Hey, Mona. So I'm so happy to see you. So I'm thinking about, back then, they were thinking about, New York's now New York is very different. Okay, we have Governor Cuomo. like him, love him, or hate him. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care for him. But and then and then each county has their own thing. And New York City, I think they do things differently than us. But they were, like I said, they were talking about banning people from using food stamps from buying soda. Now that I look back on it, it's probably, hey Matt, I'm not saying a total ban, but they should put a cap on how much you're allowed to buy with your food stamps. Same thing with cookies and things like that. When you're on like a WIC program, if you don't know what WIC is Women, Infants, and Children. So what this program does, they give you like it's not like food stamps where you get a card, you could just like go willy nilly in the store and buy whatever you want. So what they do is they give you a check and you go to the store and you're allowed to buy certain things. It's not like anything like they give you a check and they usually put like a whole bunch of stuff on it. But like one of the things, like one example is cereal. You're allowed to buy cereal with your WIC check, but it's like certain ones. Nothing really that tastes great. I think the only one that tasted really good was you can get frosted mini wheats, which I like, but I can't have that now. I do leave clothes in the dryer all the time because I always forget that my clothes are in the wash. So for me, I'm kind of thinking about that. If they were to like put a cap on how much food stamps you could use on cookies, cake, and stuff like that, I would much rather someone use food stamps and buy a lobster or a steak because that's a dinner, over, a 24, a case of soda. You know what I mean? At least lobster is, nutritional. It's something you could eat. Yeah, sure, it's kind of bougie, but it's still neat. And we have this wonderful store here on Long Island. Do you have those down by you, Matthew? The Lidl, Lidl. I love that store. Now that store, see, there's a thing. There are stores out there. Boo, meat is not food. Well, that's true. I agree with you on that one. H7. I'm just saying, like with food stamps, I think that I was thinking about something that was, there's a guy on TikTok that's asking, Democrats if there are any, policies that are on the right, on the conservative side that I would support. And one was I do support guns because I feel like if you're responsible and it's your money and that's what you want to spend your money on, who the hell am I to tell you what to spend your money on, right? I mean, I don't understand what you need it for. I don't know why you need an AR-15. I have no idea. But if that's what you got money to burn on, I mean, I don't know. Oh, you should look into those. That's a great store. It's kind of like in Aldi's. I know they don't have any in Florida, so I'm gonna have to, figure out what kind of stores I'll be shopping out when I move there. But one of the other things that I was talking about is quite a long time ago when Michael Bloomberg was mayor of New York City. There was like talks of restricting people on food stamps from buying, soda. I have to be honest, I'm not against that. I'm not against restricting, large amounts of soda or cookies or cake, just simply because, you know, yeah, well that's another problem. That's another problem, Mona, is that we live in a country where that's what we have. We have the cheapest food is the worst, and that's what should be changed. There was a rumor back a while ago they were talking about putting tax. They're just going to start taxing those items. Now, if they tax those items, then you probably couldn't get them on food stamps. So here's another thing. See, this is what I don't understand is if you're on food stamps, right? You can't use your food stamps to buy one of those cooked, the rotisserie chicken in the deli. They don't let you do that because it's too convenient. When even is good food. Not very much though, H7. Nothing but, well, if you make it yourself, nothing's best if you can make it yourself. But we live in a country that is very, um, addicted to Monsanto. When I moved to Florida, I hear that they have a lot of farmers markets down there, and I look forward to checking that out. I look forward to that because I want to support small business for one, but I want to support small farmers too. I mean, somebody was telling me recently that Whole Foods supports small farmers, but You don't know. We don't really know. We don't really know. Yeah. Well, I think alcoholic beverages are taxed. You can't use food stamps on alcoholic beverages, that's for sure. But if you're on welfare, now if you're on welfare, you can use your welfare money to buy alcoholic beverages. There's always a way around that. Um, but my thing is there definitely needs to be a thing like that, with the bad food. And like I said earlier, like if you're on food stamps, you're most likely on Medicaid, like I was. I'm not on food stamps. I'm on Medicare now because I'm disabled, which Medicare, is not the best. Hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. The long way home. I don't think pop and cookies and things. I mean, yeah, sure, cookies are food, but it's not nutritious. And like I said, I was on food stamps a long time ago, a very, very long time ago. And yes, I did take advantage of it that way. I would go to BJ's with my mom, and I would buy a 24, the big thing of cans of sodies. And let me tell you something, that's how I got to how I was. And we live in a country where, obesity is a problem. I know I was one of those people. And then Medicaid kindly covers my weight loss surgery. I mean, I'm not perfect. Now I'm almost 3 years post-op. I'm not perfect. I don't get food stamps right now, so everything comes out of my own pocket. But because it comes out of my own pocket now, sure, I have some chips here and there, but I don't buy it as much. But I mean, there definitely needs to be a change in the way that food is charged in this country. We need to find a way to charge less for the stuff like vegetables and more for the things that are. Yeah, that's exactly it, Mona. I try my best to support the idea of organic, but in this country, unless if you actually go to the farm yourself and find it that way. I like the organic Doritos. I like the whole wheat, the whole grain, multi-grain Tostitos. I get the multi-grain Tostitos, and I get spinach dip. But yeah, that's a big thing. I know that we were talking about. I know that my buddy Prince Magnum, he had a video out today talking about what was he talking about? Oh, about the Standing Rock incident during the Obama administration, which was a disaster. But something else, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's a big problem in Florida right now with the red tide. The red tide, that's brought on by human error. That again, I'm one of those people who speaks out against Monsanto and processed stuff. I mean, sure, I do eat the processed stuff from time to time, but you know what I mean? That's the stuff that's causing the economic disaster. Yeah. There was actually a very sad video. One of my friends on TikTok posted it, and they this fish. It was not a whale. It was a fish. Yeah. I don't know. I don't listen to the Bible, but I do believe that the end is near. At some point, unless if we change, there is a chance of change, though. But will we do it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you there the long way home. Me too. I don't go to Aldi's, but I go to Lidl's. Lidl's is kind of like Aldi's. I don't know if you guys have those there. If you don't, you'll love it. You have one that they're the best. But I mean, because the thing is, we do have Aldi's here, but it's like eh. But Lidl, now that stuff is awesome. Yeah, but we definitely need to change our ways. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who want to change. I mean, look at that young girl. What's her name? Gretchen. 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 Her name Gretchen. How do I forget her name? That's how deep into my problems I'm in. But but that's that girl. That girl. She's from Sweden, and they teach the kids over there about the environment and Greta, is it Gretchen? No, Greta, that's her name, Greta. I guess we're close. But that's how they teach the kids over in Sweden. They teach them about climate change, and they have me too. I'm trying to think about a morning one tomorrow. I'm not sure. I definitely want to come back to doing lives. I have to, like I said yesterday, I'm going to court right now to take my kids out of New York, and supposedly my kids' dad found my YouTube channel. Hey, that's life, right? I mean, there's nothing here on my channel that is questionable behavior. My children are not being abused or anything like that. It's just um he's there's actually it's actually a crime, but yeah, I'm glad. Ooh, man, a spider bite. I've also I haven't been doing much because of my teeth. My teeth, yeah. So that's another thing with Medicaid. My Medicaid. Now, listen, I'm not one to complain about things like that, but one thing that they're not very good at is dental care. And I had two teeth that needed to be pulled, and it was like finding a needle in a haystack to get these teeth pulled. If you don't know this, Medicaid does not cover a root canal. I guess from what I understand is it makes sense. So I had a choice between a root canal or having a tooth removed. And I was like, well, if my insurance isn't going to cover it, I'm not gonna pay hundreds of dollars for it. I'm not partial to that tooth, so well, pull it on out. But then when I went to go get the tooth pulled, oh my God, I'm not kidding you. I thought I was going to die. It was scary. I was never afraid of the dentist until now. Oh, you want to come say hello? Want to come say hello to your fans? There she is. You want to say hi? Look, look. Oh yeah, yeah. What are you doing? Yeah, what you doing? What are you up to? Troubles? You being a naughty puppy? So I got my teeth pulled. And I got one molar here and one molar here. It was not this. It was 2 Fridays ago, and it's still it's not bad. But this side, I can't open my mouth all the way. The jaw is hurting, but they were really digging to get them out. They were really digging, and I've been under the care of a dentist for quite some time. But apparently the tooth over here I needed pulled last year, but COVID hit, so they were not totally into that. What are you doing? Sometimes I think Frankie thinks her name is Frankie. What are you doing? Um, but it's very common for bariatric patients to lose teeth because our diet is not the greatest. Our diet is a high protein, low carb diet. I do try to incorporate as many vegetables as I can a day, and I usually prefer to stick to protein shakes. So it's just easier for me to get my days worth of stuff in. But this tooth, they said it was so decayed that it's been like that for quite some time. So it should have been pulled a long time ago. But it is done now, and I can tell you that was the scariest shit ever. That probably would be true. Long way home. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you go. Yeah. Well, yeah. With the bariatrics, that's a very. But there are days I don't eat meat. There are days that I do. There's actually a couple of plant-based protein shakes I really like. One is made by the brand Ripple. Ripple milk is made from peas. I do eat that. And then there's another brand called Owyn, Owyn. I do drink those every now and then. What are you doing? Oh boy, I get those. And Lidl, I know we have what's called Lidl, Lidl. Now, if you don't know what Lidl is so what happens is Lidl Ripple is good. I use that in my coffee too. I actually get the pea milk. That sounds really weird, but yeah, the pea milk. But so Lidl. So Aldi and Trader Joe's are owned by the same company, and so what happens is Aldi and Lidl is a family-owned business. Aldi and Trader Joe's, it's a family business. So what happens is the owner of Lidl is part of the same family, and I guess they had a falling out of some kind, and that's how Lidl came about. And I don't know. For me, I mean, I like I said, the Aldi here is like eh. So, but Lidl is awesome, but they don't have those in Florida. So, I'm gonna be going to Florida, soon to go look around, and I'll see what things are like before I move there. But there's no Lidls down there, but it could end up happening. Wow, yeah, they're not really those are not really nearby my home. Now, I don't know how truthful this is. I don't know how truthful this is, but this is something that I heard at least, in my area, is that Aldi, they consider Aldi the lower end store, so they usually put them in lower end areas here. Again, don't shoot the messenger. That's just what I heard. And Trader Joe's are the Trader Joe's we have are in more of a bougie area. I hope that's not true. Did you know? Oh my gosh! Did you guys hear the history of the Cracker Barrel? Oh Lord! I mean, to me, I think that's a mediocre restaurant. I know somebody on here is not going to agree with me, and I apologize. To me, it's like I mean, it's okay. It's like eh. I mean, I do like Southern cooking, but it's like a eh. But gosh, I didn't know there was a racist background to it, as in the name of Cracker Barrel. I didn't know that part. I just knew that they were not very into, they're not very big into serving people of color in their restaurants. They were supposed to put one here. Originally, Cracker Barrel said they would never ever put a restaurant here on Long Island because we are too diverse. That's what they had said. But then they were going to put it, and then they decided not to put it. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a sad story to tell you the truth that that's what well, so basically the history of Cracker Barrel is yeah, blatant racism. Yeah. I mean I went to them as a kid when we would go to Disney. When I was a kid, yeah, Cracker Barrel is terrible. When I was a kid, back then Disney didn't have well, I think it did have food plans or whatever, but my grandmother was not really big into eating on the Disney property. My grandparents would rent the car and we would drive off a Disney property. Hey, putt putt. So we would go to Cracker Barrel, in Orlando. But I didn't know this, but so the meaning behind Cracker Barrel is the barrel is where the slave owner would put the whip, also known as the cracker, into the barrel. So when they would, go after the slaves, they would open the barrel and there would be the whip. So that's where you get the name the Cracker Barrel. I did not know that until recently. I mean, like I said, we don't have those here on Long Island. They won't put one here. I mean, to me, I think it's mediocre anyways. I don't think it's something I mean, I like biscuits and gravy just fine, but I can get that anywhere, I think. Well, not here on Long Island. That's not like a big dish here, but that's yeah, right. I didn't know that H7. See, this is why TikTok is so much fun because you learn all this stuff. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly it. That the whites are called a cracker. Yes. Yeah, it's got to do with that. Yeah, but I didn't, that's yeah. Yeah, that's isn't it? Putt putt. We don't have those. Like I said, we don't have Cracker Barrel here on Long Island. They've been known in the past to not want to serve people of color, and if they put one, yeah, we don't have those here. They won't put one here because, like I said, we're too diverse for them. They don't want to have to come to Long Island and serve, people of color. Although I could tell you this, I don't think they would go. You know. I know a big company that people are not a fan of is what do you call it? Chick-fil-A. I have to be honest, I tried it. I'll be honest, I tried it, and I don't get it. I don't get the big thing about that. I don't think it's worth. I don't think it's worth the hype. Maybe it's just me though. I didn't think they were worth the hype. If they're a hateful company, that's oh, you do. Oh. I mean, my grandmother used to like it because of the little store on the side. But this is stuff we didn't know back in the day. This is why they have to change, how they teach history to the kids. I want my kids to know these things. I want my kids to know, about, that kind of stuff. Listen, I understand that there's parents out there that don't want their kids to learn, critical race theory or whatever it is they want to call it. But then there's also kids who want to learn. So, if you don't, maybe that's how it has to be. Maybe a kid needs to decide that they want to learn that. I mean, when you get to college, they have all kinds of different history classes. I mean, I tell you, my eyes glazed over with all the different, literature and history classes I took. I took modern literature, which was really great, and I took modern American history again, which was really great. It was definitely great. As something else, I took a anthropology class. I took Caribbean cultures in college, which again, an eye opener and things like that. I took American literature one, which was a little boring because like the first section of American literature is like it's not a lot of like literature. It's like letters from Abigail Adams and things like that. But actually, what was really awesome in American literature one, um, we did study some indigenous literature. That's definitely some interesting stuff, and I find these people to be quite interesting. So I like to learn more about them and their culture. I'm just one of those people who like to learn about different things like that. But I feel like with the whole critical race theory thing, is if you don't want your kids to learn that, then that's hey, that's you. But I think that there are children out there who want to learn, and maybe there are teachers out there who do want to teach it. So, like, if there's like, maybe that's how they do it. Maybe when it comes to, I know some kids start school in August, and here on Long Island we start kids in September. So maybe what they need to do is like do whoever wants to take that class should be allowed to take it. Just a thought. But like I said, once you get to college, that's all it basically is. You know, my I when I went to college, I was about 23 years old when I started going to college, and my kids were going to the Head Start program. Jacob started going to school at 4 months old. And something that it was kind of puzzling at first was that in college they don't get off, they don't get the day off for Columbus Day, and I'm like, well, why is that? And then finally, when I took history, I took world history one and two. That's when they started teaching about how what Christopher Columbus was really like, and the colleges don't give off. They don't give the day off for Columbus Day. So I mean, I don't know why at this rate like I said, I'm not for or against removing these statues, but if we're going to remove the statues, we need to start teaching the kids the history properly. Oh, you starts in August. Yeah, ours start September. Kids start here after Labor Day weekend. That's how it's been since the dawn of time. But also down there by you guys, you guys, your summer's a lot longer than ours. Our summer doesn't begin till June and ends like September time. However, but from June to September is our hurricane season. I think Florida's hurricane season's a lot longer, but supposedly where I'm moving is inland, so hurricane season probably won't be too bad. But I'm not somebody who's never experienced a hurricane, so me moving to Florida like with hurricanes, I mean they're a lot more there's a lot more of them, but there's not as many. But but it's not something I don't have experience with. So that's not something I'm worried about. We get hurricanes. We had Hurricane Sandy back in 2012, and Irene was the year before. So those two were pretty bad. And I kind of suspect that Long Island is due for another, catastrophic one at some point in the next couple of years. So, but I am a little nervous with like the apartment buildings in Florida. I mean, that's just awful with what happened to those people in Miami. But I'm not going to move to an apartment that's a high rise building. I'm just not. No, I'm not going to look for that. Maybe 2 floors is at best for me. I definitely wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to live in a high rise building anyways. I know that those buildings, the rent is expensive, but that's just awful. Supposedly the building owners were warned about this, long before the incident happened. Supposedly it could have been, it could have been, avoided, but I'm kind of hoping with that. I mean, sometimes it takes a tragedy like that to make a change. And I'm hoping then there's going to start be federal. I think there needs to be a federal, you know, uh, federal regulations on apartments on landlords. You know, I'm somebody who it lives in low income housing, but we get taken advantage of all the time. I mean that building that collapsed like that in Miami. That was an expensive building. That wasn't some cheap place. And I'm sure the higher the apartment, the more money it was, to rent there. But there needs to be there needs to be some federal regulations on apartments, if you ask me. That's what I think. I think there needs to be some regulating on the apartments because, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't live in New York City. I know like somebody commented on a post of mine recently. I don't live in New York City. I live an hour and a half away, but I do go often, as you've noticed. I don't foresee me going anytime soon. Um, yeah, definitely age 7. There's too many slumlords out there. I had a friend that we're not friends anymore, but he she rented an apartment and it was being paid for by social services. I don't have that, but social services was paying her rent, and the landlord was slummy, very slummy. The landlord was very slummy. I mean, my apartment's not very well taken care of, and my housing's meant for handicapped people. I was live the day that my ceiling, you know, collapsed, and I'm still dealing with the issue of mice. I have a mouse problem. That's exactly it, Mona. We need to like open that wound. We can't Disneyfy. That's what I call it. We can't Disneyfy all of our history. We need to teach our kids the truth. Because you know what? See, that's the thing is that's what's going on now is like, with black. Yeah, yep. This was about 2 years ago. I was live and the ceiling. I wasn't in the room that the ceiling collapsed, but it was in the bathroom. I was at my dining room, and I thought somebody was breaking in while I was live, but instead it was the ceiling. So that part didn't end up on the live, but so yeah, my ceiling collapsed while I was live, but not, but I wasn't, but it wasn't in the. This was about 2 years ago, Mona. Yeah, but you know, like I said, my housing's for handicapped people, and I don't think they're very well regulated either. This is why regulations need to be in place. I mean, the thing is, when something goes wrong in my apartment, are there places I can call and complain? Sure, I can call and complain to, yay, Lewis is back. I can call the Office of Mental Health because my housing is through the Office of Mental Health. I can call Section 8 because Section 8 does, subsidize my rent. I can do that. There are definitely a lot of, thank you, Lewis. I appreciate it. There's definitely a lot of different things I can do in that regards, but like if there's federal regulations, it would certainly change a lot of the ways that, housing would be in this country. There definitely needs to be, a better way to report slumlords. I mean, I could tell you this right now. So a lot of people are fleeing New York City, right? They're coming out here onto the island, or we're moving to Florida or something like that. And I see a lot of people posting on Facebook, in the Facebook yard sale groups, advertising, apartments, and they're trying to, rent out their apartments for insane prices. I could. Well, I mean, I could have sued my housing agency 10 times already. At this rate, I just want to play nice so I can get out of here. You know. So we're working on that. What are you doing? Funny this. I think Frankie thinks sometimes her name is Frankie. What are you doing? Want to come say hi? Come say hi. How you doing, girl? Oh, Frankie's not a very big kissy girl. What do we think? She'll stare at you, but she won't give you a kiss. Oh yeah. No. But when we move to Florida, Frankie will at some point get a sibling. Yeah. I want to get another dog. Oh, oh. Nope. She thought about it. Yeah, what you doing, girl? What you doing? What you doing, girl? Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's up, girl? Silly dog. What's up? There you go. Saying hi to your fans? Huh? You saying hi to your fans? What are you doing? Yeah. Oh, what a good girl. What a good girl. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely get another pug. Yeah. Because this is how she is all day. I mean, I'm not saying all pugs are like this, but well, actually, I think they are. I'm not saying all pugs are like this, but I'm pretty sure they are. My somebody once said that somebody was telling me and my mom that pugs are not lap dogs. My mom says, "Oh, you sure showed them because or you trained her properly because she's like the ultimate lap dog." What are you doing? Oh, she's just a good girl. Plus, pugs are great for apartments. Do I miss 2020? Definitely not. And I'm not saying 2021's a mass improvement or anything like that by any means, but it's definitely a little better, a little better. Frankie, no, don't push the buttons on my laptop. I don't want you to kick me out of my live, no. No, I don't miss 2020. However, 2020 does put life into like a perspective. Yeah. Oh, I gotta go, guys. There's somebody at my door. I will talk to you guys later. Oops.